This is not us making this up. This is actual reporting of Jerry Jones talking about being a general manager. I've done it all, okay? So I have an inordinate amount of confidence that, if anybody can figure out how to get this shit done, I can figure out how to get it done, John said. I've been there every which way from Sunday. And have I busted my ass a bunch? A bunch. And there's nobody living that out cutting and out shooting that can give you a bunch of times they busted their ass. So hell no. There's nobody that could fucking come in here and do all the contracts and be a GM any better than I can. Now, Jerry, congrats on talking your shit.
Yeah, absolutely. Unbelievable.
Think about the decades and decades of the people and fans saying Jerry needs to get his hands out of the team's business. Ever since Jerry has started running things, we haven't been good. He got rid of Jimmy, and then nobody's able to check Jerry. And Jerry's just got his little fingers and everything. He's making decisions. He's drafting from the yacht. He's cutting people. He's negotiating deals. He's calling plays sometimes. Shit, he will get out there and throw the ball himself if he wants to. That is what people say. That's why the Cowboys haven't been good. So if this is a new interview or if this is Clarence Hill Jr. writing about something that happened back in the day, it's like, shout out to Jerry Jones just finally telling everybody, hey, eat shit. Just want to let you know that. AJ, how do you feel?
Well, good morning, good people. Mark Holmes here, of course, with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo, as well as the Funky Chicken. And as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. I hope everybody's having a great day. I know you're not if you're a Dallas Cowboy fan, because this is when we literally eat caca. We eat caca. We're sitting here seeing the Philadelphia Eagles go to their third Super Bowl since 2017. Our only hopes is that Kansas City, the former Dallas Texans that were smart enough to get out before Jerry Jones took over, three-peats. We're in hell right now. And today, we have the introduction of our new head coach, Brian Schottenheimer.
Oh, shit! Oh, shit!
I'm wondering if BetUS actually has odds on how long Brian Schottenheimer is the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. But definitely check out BetUS, because with BetUS, of course, use that promo code YouTube150 so you can get 150% matching on your first 3 deposits. If you do crypto, you get 200. So check out and remember YouTube150. I'm wondering if they have odds on Dallas Cowboys years with Brian Schottenheimer. I'm just curious how this looks. I am now thinking about equating the Dallas Cowboys to the fall of Rome. The Dallas Cowboys, the peak of the Dallas Cowboys was when Jimmy Johnson was fired. That was a well-run organization. Jerry Jones worried about the dollars and cents and promoting the Dallas Cowboys, and Jimmy Johnson took care of the team on the field. And he held people responsible. You know things that bother me? I think about when Jimmy Johnson, now there is different rules for different players, of course. But when the kicker had asthma, and he said, take your asthmatic ass over on that field and cut him. When you effed up on the field, when you messed up on the field, had a boneheaded penalty or a missed assignment, you got the look that lets you know, I don't want to go on my sideline. Can I go on the other team's sideline? Guys, can I get shelter? Because he's going to put a foot in my ass. You were held accountable. And that's what Michael Irvin was impressing upon us the other night. Saturday night, he went off about Brian Schottenheimer. Does nothing personal against Brian Schottenheimer, but he looked at it and said, we need discipline. And how are you going to now be a disciplinarian as the head coach when you weren't before, when everything was getting away? You know how many times, like for example, how many times Randy Gregory would have a boneheaded, unnecessary roughness, hitting the quarterback below the knees or hitting a player late, tackling offensive linemen. And there's never any ramifications to that. You ever seen a player get blasted for doing something stupid on the Dallas Cowboys? And we're one of the most penalized teams for like the last forever? There's no discipline. There's no ramifications for anything. But why should there be? Because the Joneses can constantly mess up and there's no ramifications for them. They can screw the pooch on contracts. Other teams, if the GM or the cap guy signs contracts that literally set the team back, they're getting fired. They're getting let go. If teams mess up in the draft, they're not going to be there doing those decisions again. With the Cowboys, you see the polar opposite with the Dallas Cowboys. We always feel that we believe in our guys and that the people out there, they're no good. If we said that they were going to be good, we're going to force that square peg into that round hole. 82-year-old Jerry Jones going about it alone to find that coach. And he didn't look anywhere except 2 feet in front of his face. As opposed to a Howie Roseman who understands I've made some bad calls, but I need to fix it. I need to go out and get what I need. Because this is the difference. Stephen Jones will literally say on his principle, you can't go into free agency. What free agency means is you messed up in the draft. And you have to make up for it for free agency. So we mess up in the draft, but we're not going to fix it. We're not going to fix it. Okay, bro, I don't care how you got here. You need a linebacker. You need to get a linebacker. If you didn't get it in the draft, you can't do without and say we're okay without it. And that's the mentality and the difference. You see the Eagles. They got a hole. How can we plug it? Can we make a trade? Can we sign a free agent? How can we fix this? And instead of every year we go through at free agency time, we let go players because they're too expensive. We're just going to draft our way out of these holes. And I get, an email from jackass 49er fans that are too afraid to actually come in here and do a walk of shame and comment. Scared little bitches that sit there and say, oh, you're talking about weapons trying to defend Dak Prescott. Bro, I don't give a rat's ass about what you think. I'm going to say what the fuck I want to say at 59 years old. And when I look and I see you don't have a running game, you got a shitty offensive line, you got a wide receiver that now we got to use in the running game who's not a running type of receiver and wear his ass in the ground, you're damn right I'm going to say we don't have enough weapons for our team. Saquon Barkley is the engine that drives the Eagles. They got great wide receiver in A.J. Brown, who's not really getting used, but he's there when they need him. They got Devontae Smith over there, another great wide receiver. He's there when they need him. If somebody happens to be able to stop Saquon, okay, let's rely on the other guys. We got CeeDee Lamb, and if CeeDee Lamb ain't going, this team ain't going. There aren't any other options. You can't sit here and say, that Ryan Fenoy, he's got some Dez Bryant in him. The fuck are you talking about? What are you talking about? Instead of saying, hey, Michael Gallup is on one leg and recovering. Maybe we should wait and see about giving him a $52 million contract. Maybe we'd be better suited bringing in a veteran number 2 receiver for that $13 million a year who's not injured, who's ready to be here working with the team in the offseason. And as much as you guys say our quarterback just sucks, well, a lot of these same guys, if their name is not Pat Mahomes, they ain't winning Super Bowls right now. Josh Allen's not. Lamar Jackson's not. Justin Herbert's not. Trevor Lawrence is not. Because it's bigger than just the quarterback. Yes, you got to have a really good quarterback that's not messing it up. But that's not enough, people. You can't tell me that Josh Allen isn't a great quarterback. You can't tell me that Lamar Jackson isn't a great quarterback. You got to have a team. And unfortunately, since that peak of Jimmy Johnson, who was the guy who brought in the talent, who recognized it, and had coaches. Understand, Jimmy wasn't coaching individual positions. Jimmy got coaches who knew how to coach those positions. He set out a philosophy. Coaching matters. Players matter. Unfortunately, the Joneses trust the process. I know better. No, you don't. No, you don't. All you've proven the last 30 years is you don't. And every move now gets worse. A 49-year-old Howie Roseman is running circles around you and the Dallas Cowboys. An 82 Jerry Jones, who is scared to talk to anybody outside of the organization, and has the whole mentality of we're going to do more with less. We're never going to win like this, guys. We're never going to win like this. We can't even fire or let go a head coach to try and start all over. We had heard Friday night that Matt Eberflus was going to be the defensive coordinator. We had heard Brian Schottenheimer was going to be the head coach basically on Wednesday, and then we hear about us talking about to a mystery candidate, and then we hear about calls to Pete Carroll, and that Dion was going to be in town. So today, you're introducing your new head coach that instead of being proud about doing this, you did it in a Friday night dump at 9:30 Eastern. You undermined him already. You've already got him. You already got everybody looking for the next guy. And you're going to announce he's the head coach as the Eagles go to the Super Bowl. So now, after being basically told that Eberflus was going to be the defensive coordinator, we heard about then a bunch of other guys that they're interviewing for the position, and now we're back to likely, per Ed Werder, Schottenheimer is likely to hire Chicago Bears coach Matt Eberflus to Dallas defensive coordinator. He also knows that current defensive coordinator, Mike Zimmer, as we talked about yesterday, is not returning to Dallas and likely will retire. Eberflus was Cowboys linebacker coach from 2010 to 2017 and also has spent 2 teams as team's passing game coordinator. After a 3-year stint in Indianapolis as defensive coordinator, he became the Bears head coach in 2022. Chicago, which didn't make the postseason in Eberflus' first 2 years, got off to a solid start, 4-2, behind a strong play from rookie quarterback Caleb Williams. The Bears quickly collapsed, however, losing 6 of the next games leading up to Eberflus' firing. So there's that. So today, in an hour and 45 minutes from now, we'll have the press conference of Brian Schottenheimer as Rome continues to crumble.
Is old is new again in Dallas. The Cowboys have corralled their next head coach, and he's their former offensive coordinator. Brian Schottenheimer will take the reins in Big D, the team making official what had been rumored for a good stretch of the latter part of the week. Schottenheimer becoming the 10th head coach in franchise history, his first head coaching gig. And that is something that is a long time coming. Schottenheimer's worked 14 seasons as an OC, including the last 2 in Dallas. And Marty and Brian Schottenheimer are now the 9th father-son combination to each be a head coach in the National Football League. Marty was a head coach for 4 different franchises from 1984 to 2006. He won exactly 200 career games in the regular season. And now his son Brian has a chance to do the same, ascending from the ranks of being a coordinator, something that was celebrated, according to Adam Schefter, in the team's announcement.
It would have been great if everybody could have heard the excitement in Jerry Jones' voice on
shit.
Friday night when he called to say that it was official. Brian Schottenheimer, a career assistant coach in the NFL, no longer was a career assistant. He now was the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. Those were the words that Jerry Jones used, and the excitement in his voice was obvious. Jerry Jones, Brian Schottenheimer, the Dallas Cowboys spent the past 3 days going over their vision for the organization and how it would take shape in the future. And by the time Friday night rolled around, they had put together a 4-year agreement that made Brian Schottenheimer an NFL head coach just like his famous father, Marty Schottenheimer, once was. The Cowboys have a new direction, but it's somebody that they know very well, who their quarterback, Dak Prescott, believes in, and now another team has filled another opening. The new Dallas Cowboys head coach is Brian Schottenheimer.
Schottenheimer is the third internal hire to be named head coach in Cowboys history. He joins Jason Garrett and Dave Campo, and depending on your definition of success, neither of those two worked out. Campo lasting only the 3 seasons without a playoff berth. Jason Garrett, meanwhile, winning 2 playoff games across a span of 10 seasons. There is Brian Schottenheimer. There is Louis Riddick with us on SportsCenter this morning. Louis, what do you make of this move by Jerry Jones?
Randy, it's not surprising in the least, right? I mean, this is the kind of thing that fits with what Jerry Jones, well, rather with how Jerry Jones likes to run his organization, which is he wants people who are going to fall in line and who he's going to be comfortable with from a relationship standpoint, and who's going to be okay with the way he likes to do business, both as an owner and as a GM, and basically as an overseer of the entire organization. Everything runs through Jerry Jones and basically stops with him. Now, that's not to say that this is a knock on Brian Schottenheimer. I was around Brian Schottenheimer back in 2001 when I started my scouting career in Washington with his father, with Marty Schottenheimer. And he has been someone who has been a career assistant and someone who's been around some great players and some great coaching staffs. And I think what Adam said, to kind of put, some shine onto this situation is the fact that he's someone that obviously Dak Prescott trusts and Dak Prescott has a great relationship with. And that's pretty important considering the kind of investment that Dallas recently has made in Dak Prescott. You have to foster that relationship. You have to get the very best out of Dak. Does this from the outside, from everyone who's looking at Dallas, look as though this was the best possible candidate that they could get, the best possible candidate on the market? No. But there's a lot of things internally that they know about Brian Schottenheimer that nobody else knows, and who knows how this is going to ultimately turn out. But it's not shocking in the least that Jerry Jones went internal, went with someone who he's comfortable with and someone who he knows exactly what he's going to get from them, and they know exactly what they're going to get from Jerry Jones.
The Dallas Cowboys want to be playing football games on this championship weekend, not making coaching changes. Dallas has not played in the championship round of the playoffs since 1995. Speaking of, Brian Schottenheimer, champion of the bid. He's been waiting a long time for a head coaching opportunity. So why is Jerry Jones giving him one?
Head coach Schotty had a lot of support in the building, not just with Jerry Jones. People at the top really value the relationship they built with Brian Schottenheimer. And the sense around the league is that this is a Dak Prescott hire. Dak Prescott likes Schottenheimer and the offense, the chemistry they have together. He likes the continuity that he brings. So it's kind of just running it back in a lot of ways, even though Mike McCarthy, if they could have found maybe some common ground on the number of years on a deal, he would still be there as of a couple weeks ago, but they just couldn't. So Schottenheimer stays in-house, and there is shock around the league that he somehow rose to the top here despite some other qualified candidates like Kellen Moore. The stage was set for him to get this job. He really wanted this job, and here he is. It didn't work out. So a lot of surprise. Doesn't mean he can't do well. They're going to have a good staff. Sources tell me that Matt Eberflus, recent Chicago Bears head coach, will be heavily in the mix probably as a defensive coordinator. So that's one to watch.
Phil Murphy, Randy Scott with you at SportsCenter A.M. The Cowboys have a new head coach, and they did not.
We're just going through the whole
game
here.
Brian Schottenheimer moves from the booth to the sideline, trading his offensive coordinator headset for his head coaching headset, I suppose. 51 years old, Schottenheimer gets a 4-year deal to become the 10th head coach in franchise history. Todd Archer has more from Dallas on the dawn of a new old day.
As much as there's familiarity between Jerry Jones and Brian Schottenheimer, there's familiarity between Dak Prescott and Brian Schottenheimer. Brian Schottenheimer, while he was the offensive coordinator these last 2 seasons, he wasn't the play caller, but every time Prescott came off the field, he was the one talking to the quarterback, going over what they would see from the defense, going over what they would need to do to change plays. Dak had a really good relationship with Mike McCarthy as well, but he's grown tight with Brian Schottenheimer, and he believes he's a guy that can get him back to the form that he had in 2023 when he was second in the MVP voting after a 36-touchdown season.
Cowboys are certainly hoping that Schottenheimer can recreate the success that he had with Dak Prescott in their first season together. 2023, Prescott
We can hope.
ranked top 3 total QBR, passing touchdowns, completion percentage, and passing yards.
There you have it, people. There you have it. We'll see. We'll be here. We'll be watching. And so on. I'm Mark Holmes, and well, I got to get out of here. I got to get out of here.
Can't stand it anymore. I've got to get out of here. I've got to get out of here. Calm down. Get a hold of yourself.
Stewardess, please let me handle this.
I've got to get
Calm down. Now get back to your seat. I'll take care of this. Calm down. Calm down. Get a hold of yourself.
Doctor, you're one on the phone. Everything's going to be all right. Please.
Sister, please, I'll handle this.
I've got to get out of here.